to California.
What's up, YouTube? It's Artisan MC, and today, finally, I will review Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, the turkey going in the oven, and laying it to rest. First off, I'd like to say I'm going to try to keep this short, just for posterity. If you haven't seen this shit by now, you don't care to see it, and it may be good for you, it may be bad for you. It really doesn't matter. The good part is that this is over. So my first point goes out to J.J. Abrams, and just to let you guys know, I will go out of order because I'm not reviewing this whole thing. I'm trying to keep this under 15 minutes just to get it over with, just the same way they got the movie over with. So my first shot goes out to J.J. Abrams. Thank you for coming in and trying to patch the holes up in this ship and float it off to new lands without it sinking halfway through the process or in dry dock, because there's a lot of shit left over from the second movie, Last Jedi, that really left a sour taste in fans' mouth. And after seeing this movie, I kind of understand and get that it may not have all been Rian Johnson. I think that was more so Kathleen Kennedy, just from what I'm seeing. You got 3 movies here, one of which in the middle is absolute horseshit, and then the other 2 passable, okay? Horseshit with a candy coating, if you will. And from the things I've heard after this movie came out and what the mandate was from her for the first movie, I see that it took a stronger director to deal with her. That otherwise, she just ran over him and got whatever she wanted thrown into the movie. And here's all these loose ends that you have J.J. Abrams coming back and actually tying up and fixing. So, to keep it brief, my 3 objectionable points. There's a sandwich here, and I'll try to get to it as quick as possible. The bullshit up front is that right from the beginning, Rey is levitating herself and everything else. Okay. I call bullshit just because I don't... Fucking hell, this is going to irritate the hell out of me. There's so much you can learn from a book, and then there's so much you have to learn from practical teachings. Okay? Rey has the books that Luke Skywalker had, right? Fine. What the fuck ever. Leia is supposedly her master now and training her. Fine, whatever. Leia is a Jedi in the novels. I don't have a problem with Leia being a Jedi. Better than Luke is an issue. That ain't fucking happening anywhere. Okay, whatever. But she's doing way too much. It's OP stuff, right? But it's only OP stuff in the vein of all the rest of the movie. So, by comparison, it's pretty fucking tame. Outside of the stuff you saw her doing in the previous movie. In the previous movie, she levitated damn near a whole hillside of rubble when Luke could barely lift 3 stones in Empire. Okay, so now she's levitating herself and got a double helix floating around her out of garbage. Whatever the fuck. Moving on. Second point, Leia being her master. I don't have a problem with Leia being a Jedi. Like I said, she's a Jedi in the novels. I'd love to see Leia as an actual Jedi. But because of that bullshit that was in the last movie, with her doing her Mary Poppins through space and not establishing anywhere in 6 movies that she had any kind of fucking force training outside of just being force sensitive, you had to have something in there to tie up that loose end of her being able to do anything in the force. Okay? To me, that's a loose end. And for me, thinking about it outside of the movie, you have a director and a bunch of writers sitting down at the table and they're lining up all this bullshit that's left from the last movie, and all they're doing is punching out holes, right? That's all they're doing. All they're doing is thumbtacking that shit, patching it up, or tying up that present and kicking it under the Christmas tree. And the first one you got is Leia doing her Mary Poppins. Say Luke trained her, and what the hell else? Bam! Off my table. That's it. That's all you got. So I'm fine with that. To me, that's somebody understanding the massive lump of shit that was left to them and trying to do the best that they can. They're trying to make M&Ms out of that shit. That's it. That is it. That's what I saw this whole movie as. That's why I wasn't that fucking pissed off and actually surprised that it was actually kind of decent. Because that's all he did. He came in and tried to clean up some of that shit. The second most egregious scene I saw was Rey stopping the shuttle. I know this is YouTube and we're supposed to be trying to make this stuff for kids now, but get the fuck out of here. Get all the fuck out the door, down the street, here. Not strong enough to do this, but like I'm saying, is this the most overpowered thing you've seen her do in the last 3 movies? I don't know, maybe. I don't buy it. And I don't buy it because I'm still saying she hasn't really been trained enough. You can get a lot from a book, but you don't get practical knowledge from outside of a book, okay? Leia may have been trained, but she stopped. So where's she getting all of this knowledge of doing this shit from? Okay, I don't buy it. Even being Palpatine's granddaughter, which is just like trying to tie up some more loose ends because the last movie said her parents were nobodies. This movie, you find out, well, her parents, at least one of them, was Palpatine's son, which would be somebody, which begs the question, was this motherfucker Force sensitive and using the Force? What the hell? We just going to glance over that shit? We just going to kill him, don't even name him, kill him and his wife, and wipe him away and not even get a name? Is he Force sensitive? Who did he have his baby by? Who did Palpatine have a baby by? Don't fucking know. But that's another thing. Somebody writing this shit in there, getting that shit off their table. Okay? Tying up that loose end and throw it over there. That's what it is. So, shuttle scene, not buying that. Egregious, but Rey been doing overpowered shit for the last 3 movies. The last 2 movies. Her doing it in the third one, not a damn surprise. It shouldn't come as a shock to anybody. Right? The third most egregious scene for me comes to the end. And it's partly in the middle. And this is with Rey doing all this force healing shit. Now, yeah, that works in The Mandalorian with Baby Yoda. Okay, I think they ripped that straight out of The Mandalorian when they found out what the hell was going on in there. Because, truth be told, nobody knew what was going on in The Mandalorian before that shit was coming out because Jon Favreau and Filoni, they got to do their own thing over here and nobody was actually, giving a fuck. That's why it looks low budget. But next season should be fucking awesome because they're going to get more money and they're going to get in. Those are fans. I'm happy with that. Right? But she's doing this force healing thing. You've never seen anybody in Star Wars movies do anything healing anybody with the fucking force. Okay? This is where I think they keep fucking up with trying to turn the force into something else other than it is so they can make their stories. Okay? Fine. She force healed him and brought him back from the brink. Didn't kill her, right? Okay. You get to the end with her going up against her granddaddy, and apparently now the force is like a battery, and she spent all her force chi energy fighting Grandpappy, and Kylo has to show up and give her some of his force. And now it kills him, because now the force is like a battery. It's contained in one person, and they can deplete it completely. No. Don't buy that shit. Okay? Especially since we already know how little trained Rey is, and so she's doing this technique. Now Ben's doing it. We don't know if he's been trained to do that shit. He wasn't doing it in the first movie when he got shot by Chewie with that blaster bolt. You didn't see him hold himself and heal himself. No, you saw him beating on his fucking armor to keep his anger up so he can fight. What happened to force healing then? Okay, this is, to me, more this throwing in some editorial bullshit. Okay. So that's egregious. And there's a fourth one. I'll get to the fourth one right now, just so I can try to end this on a positive note. The fourth one is, at the same time, a really cool scene and a really shitty scene at the same time. The cool part about it is that you have Rey fighting Palpatine and connected to every Jedi who has lived or passed on. And you get all these voices of Hayden Christensen, Samuel L. Jackson, Obi-Wan, all these people, right? Even the people from the Rebels cartoon and stuff like that. Their voices are in there if you watch that show and know their voices. All these Jedis are in there, which is cool, right? The bad part is, to quote Han Solo in The Force Awakens, that's not the way the Force works. When the fuck did Rey turn into the avatar of the fucking Force? Am I watching Legend of Korra right now, or what? Because that's not the way this shit works. If that was the case, Luke shouldn't have been dead in the last movie. Right? Because by rights, he's the most powerful Jedi alive. And if she can do that with no fucking training, why couldn't he? He's seeing Master Yoda. Master Yoda couldn't have told him how to call on the Force and pull it from everybody else who ever lived. No. So that's bullshit to me. Cool, because I like the original actors coming back and lending their voices to that scene, but it's bullshit because it's not the way the shit works. Okay? They found a way to make her OP again and give her the ability to defeat somebody who should have killed her outright. Because mind you, the only thing that stopped Palpatine in Return of the Jedi was the fall. That was it. Because Vader had to get up from behind him and throw his ass over the edge to get that motherfucker to stop. That's it. In the Star Wars universe, the only thing that has stopped anybody of great power is a fucking fall. So, that's not the way this shit works. But you have her doing it. You have Sidious doing it. He pulling on all the Sith like he's all of a sudden the avatar of the dark side. That's not how that shit works. But, you know, at this point, it's the end of the movie. The fuck ever. Whatever. Throw Barney in there too. I don't give a fuck. Throw anything in there at this point. Okay. Beyond that, there were some good points to this. And this is where I give J.J. Abrams credit for trying to clean this whole mess that they made of this Star Wars franchise up on Disney's watch. Right? Is that there were a lot of good nods to legacy characters and stuff that came forward. And I appreciate that shit. Now, Lando showing up in this, I was skeptical on because per the last two movies, legacy character shows up, the motherfucker's getting killed. I didn't want to see that happen to Lando too. I didn't need to see him in the third movie get killed. He could have showed up in the second movie when they went to the casino, when it made the most sense to have Lando there. He didn't. Billy D. Williams was sick at that time, liver, kidney problems, whatever. Okay, fine. Not an issue. But third movie he shows up, cool. Got to see him in the franchise. Did he die? No. Thank you. But as far as his role in the movie, I don't know, kind of consequential. But here's the positive part. When he shows up at the end with all those ships, to me, this means that either a lot of people in the galaxy owe Lando money, or a lot of people in the galaxy Lando owes money too. Because when he put the call out, motherfuckers showed up. Now the rebellion, the Fembellion, because if you notice, all these rebels is mostly females. Leading and in this rebellion. It's mostly chicks. And all the masculine characters are on the Empire, the Sith side, which is a little odd. I think Dr. Tia San Johnson pointed that shit out. But when I saw the movie, it's like, Yes, the Rebel Alliance is female. Maybe that's why it's failing. But beyond that point, when they put out the call for help, nobody fucking answered. Lando put out the call for help. Everybody showed up. Now, I don't know if he deep D'ing everybody down or what, but motherfucker got stroked. So I appreciate that, because without Lando showing up, y'all asses would have been done. The movie would have ended, because when Palpatine got up into his damn Mighty Thor moment and just electrified the sky for everybody, that's some ridiculous shit. But it's almost more believable that Palpatine was doing it than anybody else. But fine, it looked awesome. It's a special effect. It kind of looked awesome. So the second nod for me goes into something that really resonated, and it's that Han Solo came back. And a lot of people bitched about this scene because he shouldn't be a Force ghost and all the rest of this shit. Okay, number one, he wasn't a fucking Force ghost. He was a memory. And he was a memory in Kylo Ren's mind. And he said that in his dialogue. The fact that he showed up at that moment where Kylo is again having a crisis is key. And I like that. Because if you talk to, say, soldiers who have been in a war zone and they've had to do things in war, kill people or whatever, those ghosts kind of stay with you. Okay? That's what makes killing people such a hard thing, because those ghosts do stay with you. They're surrounded by you. You see them. Okay? This, for me, is what it was with Kylo. His father was still there with him because he killed his father in a moment of conflict between the light and the dark. And when he reached that same point of conflict again, teetering between light and dark, here's his father again saying the same words to him he said last time he saw him. Same exact dialogue. He didn't know what he needed to do, and he didn't know if he was strong enough to do it. And his father told him the same thing. You can. And this time he threw the lightsaber away. This time he could. Now, for me, on a high note, or on a positive note, I should say, Kylo Ren is more interesting than Rey. Because of the arc that Kylo Ren goes through with his journey of constantly in conflict with his emotions and stuff, it's a true Sith thing. But it gives him the greater arc when he turns back to the light side at the end of this movie. I wanted him to live at the end of the movie. Rey could have died. I don't give a shit. She could have died. Palpatine could have died. Kylo could have lived on and then went on to reestablish the Jedi Order carrying the Skywalker name. He should have been the rise of Skywalker, because both his parents is dead. So he is literally solo right now. It makes more sense that he carries on his uncle's legacy and his grandfather's legacy by taking his grandfather's name and becoming the new Skywalker. Because he's the only one that's trained by both the light side and the dark side of the Force, and naturally attuned to that source of ridiculous Force power, which was Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker. That makes more sense to me. That makes more sense. So I liked Kylo Ren at the end of this. I wanted that character to go on. He didn't, because they don't ask me about this shit. They just make the movies, right? But that made more sense to me. So the next part, the next great nod that you get is when you get Rey going back to the island that Luke Skywalker was on and died on, and not her going back there and wanting to, do the Jedi thing, which is run themselves into exile because there's responsibilities to be taken care of. Not that part. The part where you have Force Ghost Luke showing up and catching the lightsaber and telling her that what's going on with people, the lightsaber should be treated with more respect. Thank you. To me, that's J.J. Abrams putting that in to remove that ridiculous shit you got at the beginning of The Last Jedi of him throwing away his father's lightsaber. That's bullshit. You would treat it with more respect. You got the prequels where they tell you your lightsaber is your life. Right? That's something you actually craft. It's not just always something that's given to you. You craft that. That is yours. You make that yourself. That is his father's lightsaber. Yes, it has maybe a plus 20 against younglings, but that's still his father's saber that he picked up and started his journey with. Yeah, he thought he lost it, but that's what the fuck it is. He would not just toss it over his fucking shoulder. And thankfully, in this movie, they corrected that because he caught it from the fire and told her to show more respect. Thank you. The better part to that, right after that scene, is what you get, which is a callback from the first movie or the second movie when you see his X-Wing in the water. This movie, he lifts that X-Wing. Luke Skywalker does his Yoda and lifts that X-Wing out of the ocean and sets it down in front of Rey. That is a great callback for me. Because seeing Yoda do that shit in Empire was huge. Huge. Because it lets you know that size does not matter in the Force, belief matters in the Force. Okay? Yoda could do it because Yoda was strong in the Force and believed in it. Like anything else. Luke didn't. Yoda proved him wrong. Now, you get to this movie and you see the boy who didn't believe now a believer. Now a true believer. Where he is able to do this massive feat of force exhibition in front of this new booty who shouldn't be able to hold anything back. That's a great callback. Now here's the bullshit in it. Even though he did it, and I like seeing Luke Skywalker do that, and Rey getting his X-Wing, I'm surprised the shit works after it's been buried in water for I don't know how long, but whatever, fuck. Different universe. The fact that even as a Force ghost, he's straining. I don't buy that. He shouldn't strain as a Force ghost. Because it makes what she's doing with being alive and holding back shuttles and shit, not really straining, just fighting to get somebody, as being really fucking overpowered. Seems really overpowered and stupid. He shouldn't strain at all. I didn't see Yoda straining when he brought down a bolt of lightning that burned a tree. He didn't strain at all. He just closed his eyes and summoned that bitch. So what the hell? But for me, that was a good callback. What was the other one? I didn't buy the Chewie being dead stuff. When they captured him, it was two shelves there any fucking way. Just because somebody says there's Chewie was on that ship, don't mean he was there. It's a movie. If he was there, you'd have seen it happen. You didn't see it happen, he wasn't on that fucking shuttle. It's not that big of a deal. Next egregious part that I saw, or just filler thoughts while I still got some time. The introduction of other stormtroopers who had resisted the programming and bounced out, and Finn getting the chick that kind of looks like him. Yeah, that might be all well and good, but here's the part that I'm having an issue with. Out of all these stormtroopers that woke up, how are they all black? That's the part that's bothering me that sticks with that fucking movie. That are they saying that all these stormtroopers are just black folks? And that is that why they can't hit shit with a gun? They drive-by shooters? What the fuck? How are all these people who are waking up from the stormtrooper training black? What kind of subliminal message is that shit? Because that's what I'm seeing. You only got two in this movie. You got Finn, and you got this chick. I don't know what her name is. Jinx. I can't remember what the hell they said her name was. Those two black ones. She with a bunch of other folks. They kind of mixed. So did the First Order just go around to these planets grabbing up all these dark-skinned folks and putting them in stormtrooper armor and programming them all the rest of that? What are you trying to tell me? What kind of subliminal message is that? Because mind you, I just finished watching the damn Watchmen. So apparently, the blue guy, the Jewish guy who turned blue decided to turn black for some cooch. So, what? Tell me something. I mean, I just finished watching The Mandalorian too. Moff Gideon rolling with a lot of brothers. Does it mean it's all brothers underneath that stuff or what? I don't know. It's just something I noticed. So it is what it is. But for the most part, just to end this, that's it. It's over. Thank God. Like I said, props to J.J. Abrams. He did about as best as he could of cleaning that shit up and giving some nods to fans of this shit, because at base, I think he is a fan. And if you look at his remake of Star Trek or anything like that, he doesn't shit on past material. He does not. To shit on something from the past, that's somebody who has no connection to the past and no respect for establishment, tradition, or men. That's why I slam that second movie all on KK. That's all her. And you see how much that shit worked. That's why your ass is getting swept out of there, and they bringing in folks that know how to write some shit that works. So that's it for my review on The Rise of Skywalker. Outside of the point of saying two things. I forgot two things. Egregious and all right. Last one. Rey taking the name of Skywalker. Yeah, I don't like that shit. But at the same time, she's not running forward into the world yelling her last name is fucking Palpatine. Okay? It's not happening. It's just not happening. Somebody will shoot her ass, later on in that episode, right? In the credits. Somebody will try to take her ass out. Because I don't see her stopping no blaster bolts like Kylo. Okay? Her taking the name. Okay, I can see story-wise she did it to honor those two people. Yes. But she has no blood connection to them. And it's just it would be the biggest thing of cultural appropriation you could think of. Because that's what it is. She just decided to make herself a Skywalker. Nobody gifted her that shit. She just decided to take it. Because she didn't have a last name. She always had a last name to me. I called her the Ray of Hope. That's what the fuck she was. A ray of hope that they could make this bullshit and pass it off to people and they would buy it. Some people did. Most didn't. Right? That's egregious. Cool part was seeing her lightsaber. Okay, her making her lightsaber was fine. Even though I don't know how she knew how to do that shit. I don't think Leia taught it to her because Leia was already dead. Now, maybe she read it in a book. I don't fucking know. I know that's the last step to you getting out of a Padawan to a Jedi Knight. You got to make your own lightsaber. She made hers. It got a yellow blade. Not a big deal. It's a bunch of different colors in the Star Wars canon, right? But here's the thing. And I thought of this at one point in the movie when she's running around with the blaster and the lightsaber and the staff. The fact that she made her lightsaber out of the staff was fine. But why not just put the blade in the fucking lightsaber, since she's more comfortable using that shit anyway? She swings a lightsaber like she's swinging that damn staff. You might as well have just put the emitter on top of the staff and let her keep carrying the goddamn staff. Whatever. She made it out of the staff. Cool. That makes actual fucking sense. But if you followed that thought out like one more second, you would have got to just put the blade in the staff. Because for me, knowing the original canon, Darth Nil was a bad motherfucker. And his lightsaber was in a long ass staff. And he had no problems whooping people's ass with that. It looked kind of cool. It would look cool on screen. And it would give her a different technique than everybody else. And it would fit with what she's comfortable with doing. If you did another movie with this character in it. But I digress. But you asked for it. That's it. It's 30 minutes. A little longer than I thought it would be. But it is what it is. Look out for a lot of shop talks on this because we've been talking and roasting this movie for the last couple of weeks with Geek Elite. But like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
You want to tell it to me?
We can't wait, but it's all an illusion. Hey, hey, hey.